shooting, killing. Is the commission aware of anybody within the whole accountable for that? We kill people in a McKinney?
Okay, so I'm just saying, I mean, I'm not going to let you transform the discussion to make it look like I am here as the mouthpiece of the police. No,
I'm not asking. I'm asking the commission. Because the commission, that is your responsibility.
Exactly. Wait.
So come out with recommendations and tell them, do this, do that.
Exactly. So that's the point now. So that is the point.
But you should highlight.
So I'm
putting in a context. I asked you a question.
No, I've had your question
earlier about what are the status, what are your assessments of human rights. If people are being killed and people who were involved in that are not being held accountable, what will be your assessment? So
I'm saying that those people, whosoever is responsible, should be held accountable. But then let's have a clear understanding of the rules. The Human Rights Commission is not, for instance, the police or the office of the Attorney General or Minister of Justice. That office is responsible to prosecute on behalf of the state. Okay, so when we do our monitoring activities, we present our reports, we expect that these institutions will be able to act on them. Okay, it is the office of the DPP's office, the Director of Public Prosecutions, that is responsible to ensure that it takes those matters to court and charge. And then we also have the IPCB. The IPCB actually looks at the excessive use of force by the police, and then they make a recommendation for prosecution by the office of DPP. So the DPP's office should be able to answer questions about why are people not brought to court, for them to be accountable.
No, I'm relating this to the general perspective or view of the Commission of respect for human rights. We are in an instance, people will die, you'll go, you investigate, you make recommendations, and no one is held accountable. How do you feel about this as a commission?
No, we don't feel any. If you do your work, you expect that at the other end of the table, there should be another institution taken up, to continue, because the process is long. The commission comes out with recommendations, and then it should be the next step. The next step is, for instance, if it's about prosecution, the DPP's office, like I just told you about the IPCB, they take the matter to court and so on and so forth. They recommend to the DPP to charge the matter to court and so on and so forth. So you don't feel good at all if you do your work and the next party that is supposed to or responsible to take it further does not do it. So you feel very bad about it.
So Una can take this. Una they take this as a commission, because Una self gets a responsibility, for advocate for the people, for see how institutions and they respect the rights of people. And there are instances where Una don't come out with recommendations and nothing is being done.
So that is the reason why, Lamana, you are aware of the public inquiry that the commission launched in January this year. Okay, that one is ongoing. And it's a way for us to actually, put a stop or, have a way of addressing impunity and accountability.
How can you address impunity when you've investigated issues that were
I've just told you about. I've just told you about. No, hold on, I'm coming.
Issues that were involved death of people.
So I'm coming.
And I'm asking again this same question. Okay. There are people who were arrested, then stand trial. Some then they don't charge them. Some then they don't convict them. So then still they stand trial. And people who were involved in this, nobody cares about them.
When they keep making use of people just take my mind to.
Police and the military are involved in this according to your report.
Yes.
When I go and investigate, when I come out with a report, we're very clear who were the people who get gone. We're involved in all of this.
So yes, the point being made is very simple from my own perspective. I just told you about the public inquiry. So the commission now, with the power that we have, once we make recommendations, once we have, we institute an investigations, and then we bring up recommendations. By the way, let me distinguish between an investigation and a monitoring, or what we normally produce the annual human rights report.
Okay, one to the president.
Yes, that one is it's a research document. Okay. But when we actually sit, the law gives us, Section 8 of our Act, it gives us the powers of the High Court, to be able to summon witnesses, for them to produce documents or testify on issues. So once that is done, we bring our report up, and then there are recommendations. We can even now ask for compensation. We can ask if somebody if we have any adverse recommendation against somebody or an institution, they fail to do so, then we can hold them in contempt. So we can refer them to the High Court for contempt. So it's something, it's dicey, but we are continuing to ensure.
Get any case of the old person for contempt, you've come out with recommendations that I will still insist about cases of death even, people and die, and no one has been held accountable for who shot or who killed.
So the public inquiry that I was referring to, if you know, it is for a period of 7 years, from 2015 to 2021, and that is still it's still ongoing. We expect that by the end of this year we'll have been able to actually complete this process. We, at some point, I mean, by this August 10 incident, we had to stop, to ensure that we have stability in the country before we could continue. So that is the means of ensuring that at the end of the day, those recommendations will have directives and orders. So it's not just reports, it's not just recommendations for that. We're going to have directives and orders. So we could order that you pay compensation, we could order that you do a public apology, we could order that you be taken away from the police force, as the case may be, when we find you culpable of any human rights infraction. So that I can see they will do.
Okay, in cases, Usai, the rights of people are abused, and UNA come out clearly and able investigate and show, say, no, this what they did is wrong. And that individual, they're still in detention or they stand trial. But the people them way UNA no say bang them people they abuse this person in rights. There is no form of compensation. How UNA can navigate in that situation? And I'll give the case of LAJ again.
Okay.
You came out clearly. You said cutting off is here. Not long they will get police that rights there. But here is LAJ, he's standing trial. I just read in the news very recently say he's not even well. He has been in detention for over 4 months. And are you looking at how this could have affected his rights and his well-being, his humanity as well?
I see you are very much interested in LAJ.
I'm using it as an example. It's one of the most recent cases.
Yeah, we are all
I'm not
interested.
just interested in it.
Yeah, we are all interested in.
Interested
in
it.
Exactly. That's the point. Yeah. That's the point. So, it's just because you continue to make mention of the same case. Lamana, in the first place, it is good that you have an institution that is bold enough to be able to come out in the face of everything to say what you did, telling another government institution that what you did was wrong. That's the first thing. And don't downplay it as if it's nothing. There are institutions who are not able or who do not have the moral fortitude to actually...
Does it stop there? Does it stop there?
No, so that's the first thing.
Looking at the rights.
So that's the first thing, to inform the public...
rights of this individual.
To inform the public in the first place that this is our position on this issue. And the Human Rights Commission is a very serious institution anywhere in the world. So international bodies, okay, they use our reports. Our reports are on our website on a daily basis. They use our reports to assess the country, and they use our report to do other things, okay? So in the first place, if the institution is able to come out clearly and state its position as against what a public institution would do, it's a very good thing that we have to celebrate. But going above that, the next stage is to ensure that our recommendations are taken very seriously. So that is why what we have done now is to ensure that we review our existing law so that we have the ability to take matters to court on our own, in our name, which now, as we speak, the law does not provide for that. All what we could do, now for what they say, amicus brief, in fact, in the first place, even before you would file for amicus brief, what does that mean? Now for go to the court and say, I'm a friend of the court, I get expert witness, or expertise, as an expert in this matter. Then you have to listen to the judge the judge will say, okay, I can see that this matter is really related to human rights, then I will allow you or not allow you. So, but we want to pass that stage. We want to ensure that this time around, we are able to take a case on our own, against human rights abusers.
So I ask again, in as much as this they happen, when I get that power, they will go, I still want to ask on issues that we get for do with protecting and respecting the rights of people. There's been the cases and on the way to identify and say, no, these people will also need for respecting rights. And we've seen Usai continuously, they've been detained, they've been appearing in courts, then go complain about their well-being, then go steal them at courts, then go give them bail. how do you intervene in those instances? The point I'm making is, how do you help in respecting and protecting the rights of Sierra Leonean citizens?
So, for distinguish between processes or investigations at the police level and proceedings in courts. So, at the police level, say the Constitution is very clear, Section 17. 3 days for minor offenses. They can hold you whilst they investigate 3 days for minor offenses. If now any, felony,
all this,
10 days.
That your rights must be respected.
Exactly. So
that is the point I'm trying to make. I understand all land, whether not the police, whether
the point on the issue of the courts.
Yeah.
Not that one for address.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, you just explain, say, una get something we go make una kin able go na the courts and say una a friend of the courts and make a case, right? That was what you were trying to say. So I'm asking in an instance, so someone identify person say, this person from the police detention, they don't abusing rights. Charging him to court, his rights, this same person in rights them don't abuse them. How do you come in to protect this individual for ensuring they're expecting rights as a citizen?
I had a case, I think it was last year or so, in Kabbalah. That issue, it was about 2 families over chieftaincy or paramount chieftaincy or so, and then some people were arrested or so. They had to be kept in police custody for a long time, and then later on the police went back to review their charges. The people were again, brought for different charges, and then when I engaged the judiciary, members of the judiciary, officers, they said what the police does is quite different from what we do. Whether this person has been in police nets for beyond the constitutional time limits, whether 3 days or 10 days, it doesn't count for us, according to them. It doesn't count for them. So they are an independent institution with the judicial mandate. So it becomes an issue of, yes, I would say, I insisted that, no, these people have been there in police custody for a long time. So why can't you look at that as well, and now grant them bail? It doesn't mean that they will go away. But, the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone is actually constrained by Section 16 of the Act that talks about exclusion of jurisdiction. So any matter before the court, the law say we cannot investigate that matter. However, we have been going out of our way to ensure that the human rights issues around those matters, we are able to ensure that we engage the relevant authorities in the court. For instance, if somebody has been coming to court for a long time, without the matter is not proceeding, then we say, how about the issue of Section 23? That talks about fair hearing. Okay, you have to ensure that the person is brought to court, and there's speedy trial. Because that itself is another human rights issue.
How about an instance where somebody complain of not being well? He's been complaining. You're a lawyer.
We have.
There's been cases where lawyers and they even come and say this person not well. He needs to be granted bail so that he will get better health care.
Yes, so that is one of the human rights issues. Then there is the case in court where we have written to the Attorney General, the Chief Justice to say, get this person bail, let this person go and address, health issues, because there are clear instances of health issues, so that the person will come back, if he has to come back or if she has to come back, to answer to whatever charges against him. But this is actually about health, because the person cannot be here or, under the custody of the judiciary vis-a-vis the correctional services and probably loses his life or her life. Then it becomes even much more compounding, So get this person a bail, admit that person to bail so that the person could go out there and get medical attention. So these are very serious issues for us. It doesn't matter, who's in governance, it's about humanity. So if you look at humanity from that perspective, it could be you, it could be your friend, your sister, your brother, your mom, your dad. Then you begin to see that, yes, we have to approach national issues beyond, politicking, beyond, just mere criticism for the sake of it. It's very serious.
Is it safe to say, some of the institutions there, the state institutions there that should respect the rights of citizens have not been respecting them?
it's difficult to use a big brush to just paint all of them the same.
I said some of them.
Yeah. So when you say some, now you begin to ask, who are those that belong under the category of some? So that is why it's difficult for me to just say, oh yes or no.
You're trying to be very careful with. You've highlighted some of these are things that you've highlighted. Now several reports.
You as a lawyer, you have to be measured. You have to be measured when you take.
No, but you have to be honest as well with the
of course
public
I am.
as well. If institutions
our
are not
views,
doing things rightly, you should call them out even and say no. We
have done that on a number of occasions.
But why are you not trying to say it here? I'm asking
How?
you when you say. I'm asking. You think which one are the institutions that we think are really not doing well in respecting the rights of people, even when they come out with reports and recommendations?
No, that one you have seen. In a plethora of our reports, for instance, we have called out the police. It's nothing that is strange or hidden. We have called out the police on a number of occasions.
So I said some earlier. You say me they use.
No, yeah, we say some.
So well, you name them now.
Some can mean 10, 50.
So you can name those. So you can name those who've not been respecting the rights of people.
So our reports are very clear. So if you, normally we advise Sierra Leoneans to love to read. People don't read. They just sit down and assume. Oh, what's human commission they do? But they don't read what to do. They don't read our reports. They don't read our press releases, our activities. If you go to Facebook, they are there. Our websites, they are there. So if you take a report, for instance, the annual report, it's clear on those who have been respecting human rights, those who have more to do, those who have not been respecting human rights.
Been reading, you want
so I've just told you. I've just given you an example that. We have called out the police on a number of occasions for not being professional with the way they handle issues that actually occur in the country. We have
so
said
the police are notorious.
Well, the word notorious,
For not,
It's not a human rights language, so I will not use it.
Okay, the police are not they implement the recommendations. The majority of the recommendations,
not all. Majority of the recommendations, the police have not been found to work with the commission to address those recommendations.
Okay.
Yes.
The issue of respecting the rights of people. I ask you this question again. With recent happenings in the country, waiting on a fair assessment of who side we dey as a nation. We don't get that. Earlier I mentioned the waiting up on a McKinney, Tumbo, waiting up in a Pademba Road Correctional Center. Recently, we get Wednesday, August 10th issue. The issue of death of civilians, where it comes to the issue there, waiting on a clear, assessment of that. Who side the problem there?
Now, in the first place, death of whatever kind is unfortunate. That's our position in the first place. So all of the instances you have mentioned, all of these are very, very unfortunate incidents that we don't see in this country. Who side the problem today? The problem today, mostly with public institutions, for instance, the police, how do they react? The problem also deal with, normally, the average Sierra Leonean, the way how we go out and take politics as the be-all and the end-all. So the issue about politics in our country don't really, it's so hard, so deep into the fabrics of society. And if we don't have a rethink, it not go over well for, we one generation, we are done. But we can pick them the generation. It's a very, very bad.
So as a commission, I think saying politics can trigger some of them things in there as well. We make
yes. That one, it's not hidden. It's not. Take your phone right now, open social media, you see all manner of arguments across. Whether it's WhatsApp, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Now, political discussions then. So sometimes, even when issues and national issues then will for approach with the national eye, with the miss them. Once we count politics inside, a perpetrator, for instance, will just walk, go because now they don't politicize the whole issue. So that perpetrator, they not going to be accountable. They not counted because it will be about APC versus SLPP issue, which is not the case, which should not be the case.
Okay. You see? There was this issue of the correctional center I was asking about. Have you been able to get a closure of actually what happened, how them people and they die, and would have for take responsibility for them people and they were dying at that place.
Okay, the incident. Yes. So now we put out a statement in respect to that. We did not do a conclusive investigation, so that is why I told you that this public inquiry will also go for look into that. I mean, though we have got complaints from people, we are going to look at those complaints, and then we'll call people and they can testify openly, so that we'll foresee the issues then. But remember, say also the correctional services themselves, they put out a press statement, they gave us, I mean, what happened, I mean, their own narrative of what happened. They gave us figures about how many people died and so on and so forth. But then we are very hopeful that, or we implore...
We're not going to investigate?
No, that is it. We did not do a conclusive investigations.
Why?
You know, because, you know, when the incident happened, it was so, chaotic, so there were security concerns across the place there. You know, they would tell you, say, no, you cannot for now, you know, we don't trust, people are coming because there have been security breaches, according to them, when they look at the camera, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then we said, if now it's not okay, then we'll find another way. So that is why we're having this public inquiry. People have the opportunity to come on board, you know, make complaints on behalf of those, the family members, the relatives, them, or friends, them.
You keep repeating this public inquiry.
Because it's very important.
And I keep wondering how
it's very important.
When they come out with reports them and investigations them, they are not being, you know, expected to some extent. Institutions them not they implement the recommendations and hold people accountable. One can even mention in the report there how this will change anything. How is it going to change?
So it's not entirely true that institutions don't respect the recommendations then. You know, what is true is that not all the recommendations then they take into account. And it's different from that investigations. It's different from an inquiry where at the end of the day, it's not just to highlight findings and recommendations, but to go further than that, to actually give directives, okay, to make, like we say, a court to make a judgment, it pronounce a judgment. So we have to do directives, you know, we have to make recommendations as well as give directives as to what should be done to A, B, and C person or institution that may have been found infringes human rights.
So why is it that this institution are not they adhere to some of the recommendations we can bring out, you know, because this is the commission is established by an act of parliament, an independent institution, and the foremost human rights institution at the country where they expect a state institution then for respect.
It is Silamana, it's an issue of cultural practice. I mean, Sierra Leoneans, they generally take away public life, go back to private life. We don't like to be accountable. We don't like to be called out. We don't like to be, challenged on issues. You know, even when you get Papana O's, if you challenge them as a picking owner, a serious problem. So once we start, at that level, private life, now we bring back into public life. So these institutions, sometimes they take us as an government institution. We don't want government to survive, or we don't want government to succeed. But as a matter of fact, those who don't understand, they should understand, they should know that our work actually gives government credibility, because it means that government gets the balls for allow an institution like Human Rights Commission for call them out where they are weak, where they are not able to actually perform well, in terms of human rights issues. So we continue to get them to understand, public officers, that it is just common to ensure that you play your role to protect and promote human rights, to respect human rights, because the state gets obligation for respect human rights, for protect human rights and fulfill human rights.
And you think the states don't adhere to that responsibility in these past 4 years, respecting the rights of people?
Well, the state
holding it as well.
The state holistically has made some progress, but we still have a long way to go as a country. Lamana, you understand, say, for 55 years, Sierra Leone journalists, for instance, they were just on the Friday evening, they were just arrested and then sent to prison on an account of criminal libel law. But government don't repeal that one day. You understand? See, over the time we've seen where people, opposition leaders and members, they don't just kill them because away because of the public, the death penalty law. Government don't actually pull that one day. You don't see how women, them over the years, they don't actually suffer a lot, picking them. So we get the Sexual Offences Act of 2012 amended in 2019. You don't see how you don't give powers. They don't open the sexual offences model courts. We don't now able to they get a lot of convictions. So these are progress. No matter how you look at them, these are tangible progress made. But then I will always say that much more needs to be done for ensure we get a society where the culture of human rights is really enhanced. Deep down from the beginning. From your home to your school to public life. So we have not gone there yet. We are yet to actually attain that kind of level where the Commission wants. But then we believe, collectively and government, government institutions, with the sense of responsibility for ensure human rights plays a pivotal role. It is at the heart of any policy or programs of government. Once we do that, we're able to enjoy human rights exclusively. Is the Commission concerned
about the recent issues of the opposition politicians complaining about arrest of their members and detention of all that? Are you concerned about
So we are concerned about everybody in this country.
Yeah, I'm asking specifically.
Yes. So we are concerned about anybody that calls on us or that we see, that they've been subjected to harassment or been arrested, as the case may be, as you put it. So we are concerned about everybody. The thing is, Lamwana, yes, because these people are the ones that have resources. They have access to media and so on and so forth. So you see that kind of tension, or you are able to hear their stories. But there are thousands of Sierra Leoneans, from Cambia to Kono to Pujong to wherever in this country, that are really, really suffering. Okay? We don't get to hear about them. You people don't get to hear about them. We get to hear about them because we interface with them. You don't get to hear about them because they don't have resources. They cannot access the media. They cannot tell their stories. We only hear from politicians, okay? Because they have the resources, they have the access, they have lawyers. Those, down to the people, those, average Sierra Leoneans, they don't have, lawyers. They can't actually fight them, for themselves. So we are concerned about every manner of person, everybody, opposition, average Sierra Leonean, those in government. We are concerned with everybody.
What's in the Commission in position with the judiciary and respect for the rights of people?
So we think that judiciary has done a lot, but they need to do more because with the decentralization of courts, okay, or of justice, if you like, put it that way. They've been able to go to Falaba, far-flung areas, where before now there were no courts, Kailang and so on and so forth. We believe that it's a way to create access, to get people to actually, gain access to justice or to judiciary. But we believe that, much more needs to be done. For instance, in an issue of, I'm a lawyer. We have been following instances where lawyers will say their cases, are not being, assigned on time. There are several cases they will say are not being assigned on time. So we believe that they have to do more in that area. And also there's the issue of judgment taking for long, before they could be pronounced in court or what have you. So these are issues where we believe they for do more, for be able to address them. Because justice has to be dispensed in a speedy manner. Okay. So all of these are issues that we believe
Okay. Look can talk about recent happenings. I go want to know what's in the Commission in position on this. But quickly, let me take a look at the video, and then we can discuss what's in the Commission think about this.
Yes, good morning. Your name is Leone Kamara. The first boy taking for Zainab Kalong, where they be shot on the 10th of August 2022 on Kolek. That the day where they shoot her, within the house where they can do the shooting. But
yourself be in the house?
Within the house, I witnessed the scene where the guy can inside compound can shoot. Witness the scene. So now, I say, we will call on the government for the jury remain, because I'm not going to say body is not remain all left now. So don't make 62 days. So we call on the government, if they will remain of me, that's going to be fine. And you know more with the colon Pacific.
So by 9:30 to 10 o'clock, we get news here that can kill the sister and I goes. This is what team up for. When the man shoots her from this end, that the bullet mark the sister and then the other bullet mark the other. I have 2 shots here. One eye arm, one eye neck. They drop now. The one that will see him, you see now, it's exactly come out. He gets mask, he gets protective shield there, he gets 2 guns, he gets 1 pistol now. He come, it's up right in front of this place. He shoots the woman 2 times. The way he don't shoot him, it's not for like 5 minutes. For see the woman don't die or not die before they move. They go. They go. Then first then come to 8. Hotel will take the body for going to this place, Okupa. But because of the tension, the performer never turned for a cottage. On the way to a cottage now, I let the woman pass off. So the following day, they be say we will get an money. Because the woman no go per riot for saying a person will go per riot or in a street with the happen right inside all the shooter. We tell we go to no more. For us see, we will seek medical attention, we go able rescue her. But at that time, it will be unfortunate for we then able rescue her. So we go the following morning to follow up with the matter. One Mr. Sine, for say them for care all the body them go to mortuary in a Connaught. Go Connaught to do the follow up. Go the 110, go the 210, they go almost every day they go. But the discouraging thing now, we they go nobody need to nothing. They just say, "I go Kantuma, I go Kantuma." Don't go up to foreign internal affairs. We let me give some document for sign. Later they come out, they say no, I go. We need the key again. And it disheartening. We will bury sister. We will pay any kind of amount so then demand say, look, then they give you the body. We're able.
And they say this person probably gets wed on the 25th September.
Yes.
Another
the 25th, yes. The 25th September. They don't do all things. They don't pay how we call her, a bride price. Islamically, they don't pay her. They don't pay her. Now all been there. They pay her. They don't pull a shopee, they don't buy, they don't do all things, they don't shop it. Boku things they don't do. All things they don't give people all that for concerning the married. They don't give it to them for give for let it. That it did them be the wait no more. But they can kill and so nine post. It's disheartening and we need to plead to government too. I need to plead. I will write them for giving the body. Because our person we don't go for identify. If we not be able to identify her, we not be able to go for identify, and I know we should go hold on to her.
From the president, we don't send condolences to me. We got another choice. That's the way. And even the money, not so that we expect money. Because money is not everything. The losses, I don't need power all this time. Like the man when he lays with we, they read. To talk inside their book and some question I can answer. The same system not to me answer that one. We don't be all these 2 full months, August 10 to attend. Not too money we expect. With the physical can at least when I will tell you say what did them already now what is there no can let me go there with people there.
Just a plea that we want to make on behalf of the family members. We've made that agreement that we are going to plead to the ministers involved and the government to see that they will help we get hold of the body then. If there is a need, not forcing things, but we are just pleading. If you can consider that, make it a second thought, it's good. If not, we can still follow suit.
The beginning at 16 months old, always they call it that. Dad. I'm the take of the beginning cry 24 hours.
Rejected 20 million for them to know that the family is not happy.
Well, they say that they did this with the acquiescence of the bereaved family members. They approved.
No, all the family members approved. We were there at the meeting and we disapproved. We rejected the 20 million instant.
Did they tell you why they thought that the state should lead the burial ceremony?
Well, not until this morning when I had an interview that was made with the information minister, who said because of security concerns.
What do you make of what the minister's reason is, namely security concern for not handing the bodies over to the families?
No, that one is totally substantiated. You know, we don't accept that. It's not as a result of security concerns.
Why do you think that is?
It's just a way for them to keep holding on to the body. They don't want to give the body to the family.
No, but if they say because of security concerns, you say it is not. What do you think is the reason for them not giving the bodies back to the families? Particularly in your case, Evangelist Samson's body.
Yes, possibly they might be viewing Evangelist Samson with a political lens, because he is a political social media commentator, right? Evangelist Samson is well known for the APC party. They are observing Evangelist Samson with a political lens. So because of political reasons, they are holding up to Evangelist Samson corpse. It's not as a result of...
When they will watch, actually, the family members, you know, the one that will be the request before the funeral, and the other family not on the hill of a lady will die and picking being talk as well. And what's in the commission make of this? This is the most recent thing will happen. People will die on Wednesday, August 10th, and the one that will die after the aftermath of it. Evangelist Samson is one person where police say died during crossfire and McKinney and all of that. The people request for the body of them loved ones. The government not give them.
Leone, first of all, on behalf of the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone, I want to again express we heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families, and we pray that the souls of the departed rest in perfect peace. You know, this is so. You know, it's really difficult. To bear. It's very, very difficult to bear, and the whole incident itself, a very unfortunate incident. Very, very unfortunate because, you know, at the end of the day, you see lives then lost. It's the same thing we can tell you about loyalty to political party, where people don't put as against loyalty to Sierra Leone. And to me and to the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone, we believe, all of those people involved in letting those who passed away, you know, or putting them in harm's way, all of them should be investigated and they should be brought to book. Whether now it's the police, those who may had firearms, or those who unlawfully took those people to the streets, all of them should be made to account. Because look, 27 bodies. It's so difficult. I'm really broken, you know.
And the situation, Yana, that family members requested that. Yes. They've been kept for over 2 months. Family members requested that. When I give you this body, there are people where their family identify them. They were not part of those who went out. Like that woman with the narrating story. Now, us in family claims say, then go and kill them. They ask for the body, let them bury them. They don't give them the body.
Yeah, you know.
Is that not an abuse of the rights?
Culturally, every family for be able for burying in relative or in loved one, respectfully in a way they decide or they choose. So, for the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone, we believe, those bodies should have been handed over to them. Okay, having said that, we don't follow the government position. They made mention of security reasons. They said they've had experience before. You know, where such funeral, burial, all of a sudden turns out to be a political gimmick. You know, people expressing political sentiments, and it becomes violent. That is the reason they put forward. You know, so it becomes a very dicey thing. You know, wanting to...
Is that tangible? Like you've heard from Umar Fofana did a report, and a woman narrated about her daughter in Pekin where he say come on for look for him.
Yes.
I still bullet to go and kill him.
Yes. I think the order was in a house or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other family. I've spoken to family. I've been to the house at.
So that is why I said the whole incident is so unfortunate.
But the commission don't follow all of this.
Yes.
And why haven't you intervened before this and make governments know say it's the right of these people for let them get them body and go bury them out they want for bury them. It's their own right.
So government told us, that for identify those corpses, now be a very serious challenge. So that is why, in fact, they said the thing had to last for, the whole issue of burial had to go as far as 2 months or so. People could not come forward to identify their loved ones. So, for us as a commission, we believe, say, there could have been a middle ground, particularly so those with astray bullets, they were like that woman we talk about in 6 months old or something. Those people, they could have given them, there is nothing connected to politics, in their own cases. And culturally as Sierra Leoneans, we believe, say, where you person die, you want to forgive all of the respect, we deserve before ever you go learn to rest.
Is it safe to say the rights of them people that have been abused, have not been respected?
The cultural rights, yes, the cultural rights. By the way, we have several categories of rights. So in this case, the cultural rights of them, should have been much more respected. That is how I would put it.
Any law there as well, we say government for hold on to them, but you're not a lawyer, you know better than me. So government, them people are not people agreed waiting Dr. Blyden be the right. She was saying it can only happen if for the government only body if now during crisis, during war, or now in a certain situation. Any law there for the government hold on to them, but they are not give the people everywhere they ask.
Okay, so the Constitution, in many instances we look at Chapter 3, it talks so much about national security concerns. And that is what I've had the government spokesman, making mention of on a number of occasions, that for the issue of public safety or national security concern, they decided to have a state-led burial. So if you're asking for a law, I would say the Constitution, talks about in instances of national security concern, you understand, they could take certain measures for ensuring the rights of other people are protected and maintained.
Is the commission concerned that, a lot of people have been charged to court, some of them then don't even sentence them, on this Wednesday, August 10th matter, and we've not had any case of security forces or agencies being investigated for whatever happened by either the military or the police. These are testimonies of people who claim, say, then go now and place them and then shoot them, then relatives.
So that is the issue we have in the police. The police have to be much more, I think, for want of a better word, they have to be much more bold enough, to call out one of their members. In other words, when issues of unprofessionalism occur, you have to be able to surrender, that individual personnel who may have done the wrong thing, at least to clean up your own image. Sometimes they try to protect one personnel or two, as the case may be, as against the reputation of the institution. So we have always said, and including this case, those who may have operated, wrongly, you understand, they must be brought to book, just as the others that are before the court. That should be the best practice, and that is what we are calling for.
Are you concerned that everyone has been named as people were involved in insurrection? In some section they've been termed as terrorists, people were commitment, and now it's coming out that there were even people who innocently, they were not involved in all of this. Is the commission concerned with that blanket term, from the government on those who were involved in that?
For us, as lawyers, by the way, human rights, it's human rights and law. So you cannot divorce human rights from law. So there is already in place a committee. So whatever nomenclature or lexicon, whatever description they may have used, does not actually hold right now. What holds is what the committee brings up or what the court would say. So whatever description is of no moment as far as we are concerned.
Is the commission, they do investigation on this, or it's asked to go back to the inquiry we've been talk about? The 27 people and just bury them, and police officers as well, we should mention that 6 of them died, they were killed, and then don't bury them as well. Is the commission doing some investigation into this on what's actually happened?
Yeah, so just after August 10th, we on the very day, but because it became so much riotous, so we had to, call home our guys, our personnel, our staff. But then the investigations are ongoing. We started investigations to know exactly, those who are involved, the level of damage and so on and so forth. The number of people that actually lost their lives and so on and so forth. So it's something that we are pursuing. But like I've just told you, the entire incident, was really, really unfortunate, leading to the loss of how many lives, including police officers. It's so unfortunate. We have passed this stage. 20 years on since the end of the war, we decided long before that no more we use violence, to sort out our differences. We can't. How did that actually help the situation? The August 10 incident? It didn't. It just led to the loss of even innocent lives. People who are not even concerned about protests, all of you.
Is the commission also concerned about socio-economic rights of people as well?
In fact, that is the biggest for us. That is the biggest rights. We have been paying attention so much on civil and political rights. Okay, the right for vote, the right for express, blah, blah, blah. But how about your right to education, which is an empowerment right, which makes you become like Lamrana, that sits here and interviews people, which makes you become, the president, which makes you to lead UN, as the case may be. We are much more concerned about the rights to employment. That is very important. When you have employment, we saw several videos, of young people going out there. Nobody will come to you to say, let's go to the streets. It's not possible. You are engaged. Okay, so we want people, we want government to make big, to intervene big in the area of creating job opportunities for our people, for young people, so that they will be engaged, and the opportunity for politicians to use them as plaything in the hands of their political foes will not arise, or it will be minimized. So we are really, really concerned, about economic rights. So whether it's the rights to education, the rights to work, clean drinking water. You have followed the other day all the press conference on water and sanitation. All of these are basic issues that, to me, we have passed this stage. We should be able to provide them now for our people. You understand? So we have to be much more serious.
Over 100 as a nation, as somebody will sit there with a look over. How institutions, the states, they respect the rights of people. Over 100. How you go assess you? So I think every day.
As the country, as a state?
Yes. It's all waiting to happen. It's all waiting to happen recently as well.
I'm not good at assessing. When I was a lecturer, I used to give, you could have written a lot. I think you think you've passed. I give you 50, I give you 45.
How much you go give me as a country?
So in terms of the enjoyment of human rights, it's something like I told you earlier. This is so difficult to put a number to, or a figure to, whether 65, 45, 50, it's difficult. So except to take indicators, but if you just put everything together and give a blanket, it becomes difficult and also be unfair on other issues.
The state's now one of his students. You assess with with how much you will give over 100.
So probably if you rephrase the question to look at first generation of rights, second generation of rights.
You put everything together now.
No, that is the difficulty, Lamana.
No, it shouldn't be.
No.
You say no. When
even when you go to school, there are subject areas. There are subject areas.
No, you go put the assessment saying respecting the rights of people on certain aspects or certain way. Now this you think say we don't do. That is what I'm asking. You know better. You
Okay, I mean, yes. I mean, personally, this is not the view now of the commission, because we have not sat down to put a figure on.
But the commission thinks we are doing well
on
as a
the
nation.
performance. On the performance.
In respecting the rights of some of the issues there, where we talk about people came out. Yeah, it has been condemned. Some of them protested violently, destroyed properties, and killed police officers. But as well,
how do you see that?
Yeah, I'm saying people did it. We all have condemned that no one should protest violently, destroy government properties, or kill police officers. We get ways them walking protest if we want to do them peacefully, forget clearance and do them peacefully. But as well, we've got claims of people who were saying they were killed at their homes.
Yes, that is unfortunate. That shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen at all. And we have to address those issues. There should be, accountability mechanisms. That is what we are calling for.
Someone should take responsibility.
Yeah, for instance, the police, because...
But no one has. All this don't happen, no one has.
That is the problem we're having. Why can't normally, when issues of this actually arise, come out and say, we did wrong, we apologize, let's move on, we can make ourselves better going forward. But there's no culture of that in our country.
With all of
some people even resign, but in other countries, some people even resign, but here no.
With all of that happening, how much you go give you?
With all of that happening, maybe there are other issues. There are other areas that will score grade. Maybe 55.
Okay, pass mark
maybe 55. I think conservatively, I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Victor Lansana, thank you very much for talking to us about human rights. So we can try for Dole. We get diverse issues that we talk about, so people can understand, say, with our rights, we have responsibilities as well. We shouldn't forget that as citizens. We get a lot of way for show with disagreements with governments. We can vote. When elections come, if you think, say, the government not do well, you can vote against them.
That's it.
You vote the right person. But as well, we don't think so for be violent. But as well, we don't think, say, people them for abuse power and abuse rights as well. In instances where we've got families who've, testified that their loved ones were killed, we just think, say, governments have got a responsibility, as Victor said, the state gets a responsibility for protect the rights of its citizens. But thanks very much for joining us, and congratulations to the Commission for going to grade A status. We hope you're going to maintain that. You want to give people assurance, say that can be maintained and sustained.
In fact, what I normally say in the office, I say, if we can't be a grade A institution, all of us, commissioners and staff, we just need to pack our bags and just leave and close this commission. Because that is the only reason why we should survive, why we should stay there. So yes, to the people of this country, we continue to serve you. Try us, come to us. We have our regional offices. Always bring your complaints. Don't take the laws into your hands. Try the institutions and see what we can do for you. Please, this country is ours to enjoy. It's ours to suffer. We cannot continue to suffer this country. We can only do more to ensure that, we have a country where human rights, the culture of human rights is embedded in every nook and cranny, from your home to school to your office, wherever you are. Let us enjoy human rights. Let us respect human rights, and let us also have our responsibilities. We should be able to conduct ourselves in a way that ensures that we are responsible citizens of this country.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Victor Lansana from the Human Rights Commission of Leone. So we the end hot seats today. Thanks to one of our viewers them and listeners them, and to the production and technical team for who support the program. We'll meet back next week. Me, Namadou Lamganaba. Continue for watch AYV.